Hello, my name is Natalie, and I am making a video because I got a lot on my mind. So, I'm going to talk about my spiritual bath that I took, and it was a very beautiful, powerful, sacred, completely renewing spiritual bath. And actually, it was a part of a series of spiritual baths, and I'll actually talk about um, I'll talk about that. So I took a spiritually cleansing bath in the beginning of March of this year. Okay, it had hyssop, it had rosemary, it had a few other ingredients, and I took that for 7 days. And after I took that spiritual bath, some things started to fall apart. Okay, and then things in my life started to fall apart, and I didn't really know what to do. And after I finished falling apart, when I was able to, I gathered some strength, and I started to come to see like the things that was falling apart were holding me back, and I was starting to realize how much I've held on to relationships and how much I've held on to connections with people. And I've kind of like started to see how I've let my own self kind of get lost in my connections with others. So as a result of that, I really I was prompted to really shed the lining, like to purge these ties that I've had to people. Um, and so the second spiritual bath that I did was a black walnut bath. And all that really was I wrote a letter to my higher self. I wrote a letter to the universe, and I had 9 black walnuts, and I boiled them for hours until the water was black and the note, was unrecognizable and completely saturated and dyed by the black walnuts. And I let that sit under the full moon. And after that, I took a bath for a week, praying before I took this bath, and I put my intentions in every day after I took that black walnut bath. I then submerged myself in what I considered to be a second bath that I created called a goddess bath, where I had nothing but empowering affirmations and love and all the different like pieces of myself that I was pouring back into me after I was releasing connections with other people. And that was again, that was a time where I literally cut my hair off and I dyed it, and I was doing things for myself in a way that I was trying to move in a way that I had never moved before, to do the things that I never done for myself that I've always wanted to do, to make good on the promises that I had made for myself, that kind of just got lost in translation and kind of got let go along the way. So after I took this bath, I started having these very powerful and vivid dreams about so many people who I didn't even realize I was holding on to. So many people whose energies I still carried, even though they were long gone. Especially this one guy who I had a hookup with 2 years ago, one time, and he was still energetically attached to me. And it was just so interesting seeing how much energy I had been carrying for so long from so many people. And I was wondering why I always felt so tired and bogged down. So, anyway, I'm taking this bath and I'm renewing myself and I'm just loving on me, nourishing me, nurturing me. I'm working out, I'm eating well, I'm putting everything into me that I don't think I really was like. I feel like I had neglected myself, even just like becoming a mom, like that took so much from me, you know, to care for another human being. And I realized like in many relationships, in many connections, friendships, I was kind of like taking on the role of becoming other people's mothers, and not taking care of myself and realizing like this was me trying to compensate for the inner child that I had that has a mother wound. And I had to like do some deep work on that. You know, I had always thought that I was good within myself about having issues with my mom, but I wasn't. And how my relationships kind of mirrored, you know, my parents in some ways. And so as I was learning all these things, I was also like in a polyamorous relationship with multiple men. Like I was in a multiple relationship, and I loved I loved them all. Like I loved all my men's. I loved them. And little by little, I that love that I had really like began to fade. Like the love that I had for them started to dwindle, and the love that I have for me was deeply increasing. And so I was with three guys. I was dating three men. You know, and I called them like brother husbands and things like that. But it was like I really was enjoying my peace. Like, I don't know, like even taking that bath and those baths and like going out and going to like the club and other places, like it's like I would get men coming up to me and talking to me and this and that and the third, and it was just like I just don't I don't want you. Like it, and even that I don't want you. Like you're cute, but I want me right now. Like I'm enjoying myself. And it was I'm one of them women that I really enjoy sex. Like I love casual sex. I love intimacy. I love all those things. But it was like that experience, like that Walnut bath, with the goddess bath combined, it's like I just don't want nobody in my temple. Like it's like I just feel like not even to say that I'm too good for you, but I am. Like I really am too good for you in this situation. I'm too good for you to approach me in this manner. I'm too good for you to assume that just because we're in this establishment, you know, for entertainment, that I'm your entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like no. Um, and it just I don't know, I just felt so different. And that was like over a month ago, right? So fast forward to today. I would say that even beyond, you know, what has transpired in terms of like releasing these old things, like I asked to release bad habits, I asked to release the thoughts and emotions that didn't belong to me, that kept me stifled. Because whenever I would hear myself have negative self-talk, it wasn't me. I literally would hear my grandfather's voice. I would hear my mother's voice. I would hear my grandmother's voice. I would hear my father's voice. I would hear my fucking fifth grade teacher. You know what I'm saying? Miss Levy. Whenever I heard negative thoughts, And whenever I would berate myself internally because I made a mistake or because I didn't achieve something to the degree that I expected myself to achieve something, I would go on this like internal tirade, like, and I would tear myself down. And that wasn't me tearing myself down. That was the verbal abuse that I received from these people in my life. You know what I'm saying? And it's like my inner voice became them. And so when I asked the black walnut bath to clear that away, it's like I started to realize the source of this inner like animosity and where that came from. I started to realize how hard I have been on myself for my entire life. I started to realize how even though I thought I loved myself, like love had always been toxic, abusive, and like just unhealthy in my eyes. Like I had never seen healthy love. I had never seen like really good communication within love. I hadn't seen that. I hadn't seen like healthy conflict resolution. You know, I never seen that. So in my mind, when I thought I loved myself and I was, you know, all these different things, I wasn't showing myself kindness and compassion. I wasn't, especially when things was tough. I wasn't showing myself, you know, the things that I would want someone to treat me like during a rough time. Instead, I would beat myself up when I was going through a rough time. And so I realized like a lot of that came from just witnessing abuse and being abused. So I abused myself internally, and I did not understand, I couldn't understand how I wasn't loving myself. But it's because at the end of the day, my version of what I thought love was toxic. The version of love that I thought was good was not good for me at all. And so I had to kind of like purge that. Like I had to wipe that clean of what my perception of what love was, because that isn't and wasn't that. And that's not the love that I deserve as the goddess that I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would never want my partner to fucking come up to me and berate me because I made a mistake. So why the fuck am I doing it to myself? You know what I'm saying? But these are things that came up that I'm realizing, okay, this is a part of the black walnut bath. Because in order for me to work on something and to heal something, I have to feel it. I have to experience it in the moment. I can't push it to the side. I can't suppress it. I have to feel it in the moment, right? And I have to let it fully pass. And then I have to extract the wisdom from that experience in order to be able to have the emotional intelligence that I'm working on building, right? So at the end of the day, like I I had to learn how to like sit through these moments where I'm pushing myself to a very unnatural and unhealthy degree, right? And understand the source of that. And why is it that I have to be such a perfectionist? Why is there so much guilt and shame behind not having it all together all the time? Why is it so hard for me to make a mistake? Why is it so hard for me to fuck up? Like, why is that something that I'm so afraid of? And getting to that, you know, it's like, well, at the end of the day, I had to raise myself. I raised myself, and I was expected, due to my, you know, high level of intelligence as a child, to get everything right on the first try, you know. And when I didn't, I was beaten. You know, I was called different things, or you're too smart for that, you know, or you should know better. You know, different things of that nature. healthy and unrealistic expectations from an extremely early age to support grown adults and to be the person that held everybody together. So from, in an extremely young cognitive age, I was expected not to make mistakes. I was expected to not fuck up. And so as a result of that, it's like, as an adult, when I make a mistake, and especially because I'm like, well, I'm an adult, I'm smart, there's no reason why I mess this up. I shouldn't be messing this up. So then it becomes embarrassing for me to make a mistake, and then I feel uncomfortable, and I hide it. Like, I don't feel vulnerable enough to let people know I messed up. And so I hide it and I try to fix it. And it creates a lot of anxiety for me, for people to see me in a state that's not perfect. So that has been one of those things that I had to like break away from, because at the end of the day, that's not helping me at all, because that has been a very unhealthy way to live for my 27 years, to live a life where I'm afraid to make a mistake. I'm afraid to fail. I'm afraid to not get it right on the first try. And it made me realize, like, even just like as like an entrepreneur, as a person that I know I'm, the generational wealth bringer. I know I'm the, person that's going to be successful in my family and all these different things. And it's like, just because it didn't occur just this moment yet, or I hadn't reached the heights that I desire to just yet, doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. But I realize a lot of the reasons why I've self-sabotaged and stunted my own growth is because I was afraid to fail. I was afraid that if I fail and I crashed and I burned and I wiped out, that all the people who didn't necessarily, support me initially, especially like my family, would just be in my ear and be the ones that would just kind of like berate me and bring me down and just kind of like discourage me from trying again. So I never really had the support or the cushion in my life to be able to fail and be able to try again. So there's always kind of been an all or nothing kind of like approach to my life, where if I don't get this right, if I don't make it happen, if it doesn't work out this time, everything is going to be a catastrophe. And as a person who's lived in chaos and trauma, a lot of time that survival tactic has had to work. It has had to work. I've had to do that. Like, I can look back in my life and I can see, like, I learned how to drive a truck. I'm gonna tell you guys, I have a Class A license. I have all of the decorations. I've been all over the country. I've trained hundreds of people. I've driven like a million miles on the road. Like, I've done that. I've owned a company and everything. But the reason why I had to learn how to drive a truck is because when I was 19, I met a guy named Chris. And that guy, Chris, was a dude that I wound up having a very unhealthy, toxic relationship with. And I mean, our relationship had us living in crazy people's houses, sleeping on the floors at people's houses. I was pregnant. I had an abortion. I had a situation where he started stalking me. I had a situation where he tried to kill me. Literally, I was in a hospital. I had to stay in a shelter for battered women. I had to stay in a shelter twice because of that situation. Everything happened. Like, my whole life just completely was a catastrophe. Like, whole life literally exploded in my face. And I remember after he tried to, kill me, and my face was completely like, you couldn't even recognize my face, and my hair had patches in it, and I couldn't sleep, and I had to leave my job because I worked with kids and my face was scary. I had this whole situation where I went back home to live with my mother, and it was such an embarrassing time because I had nothing. Everything that I owned was left in my car, and my car got left on the side of the road because it broke down. I remember my mother, like buying me everything, drawers, socks, clothes. I didn't have anything. Um, and I was so depressed. I couldn't eat. And after that situation for like 4 or 5 months, after a while, like I started getting back to myself. I started, working out. I started doing things. My hair was okay. I was getting ready to go back to school and everything like that because I had to leave school. And my dad called me. He wanted me to move up to North Dakota with him. He asked me to move up there because there was all these jobs and all these opportunities, and he offered to help me to go to school. He said all these different things. He sold me a fucking dream. When I eventually gave in and decided to go because I really want to take care of myself, and even though my mom was offering to help me, I just felt like I wanted to do things on my own. So because of that, I let my dad offer to, hey, you can have this car when you come up here. You could do all these different things. So I move up there, and some woman is there, and that's his girlfriend or whatever. She has a kid, and he's wanted me to basically like move in to be a babysitter. Because I had came in with a plan. Like I had already applied. I was like, oh, I'm going to go get this job. I'm going to do this and then a third. Like I'm about to do this. And you said I can have this car. So I'm about to do X, Y, Z. I have all these plans. He never was going to give me that car, for one. Two, he never helped me with school. Three, 2 weeks after I moved up there, he told me I had to leave because his girlfriend didn't like me. So I had just left an abusive situation where a man put his hands on me, and I had to stay in a shelter and all these different things. I'm sleeping on my mama's couch and on her floor and all these different things. And my dad tells me all these different things, tell me to come up there. And here I am in the middle of fucking nowhere, because it took me, I had to fly to Denver, then I flew to Billings, Montana, and then from Billings, Montana, I took a tiny plane to Sydney, Montana, and my dad and his girlfriend picked me up from Sydney and drove us like 40 miles to Williston. So I was in the middle of nowhere. My phone didn't even work out there. And here I am about to be homeless. You know what I'm saying? I had a job at Super 8 Hotel. This lady, Carla, she let me basically stay there because she was like, I like you. My you speak Spanish. My clients like you, whatever. So my dad was going to leave me out to dry for this woman, right? Even though you begged me to come down here, right? Then disrespecting my mother and all these different things. So eventually, like, I got a car, I got another job, I was getting a place, I was getting myself back, to taking care of myself. And then December 23rd, some drunk driver hit me. Car crash, boom. That was my first car accident ever. I literally was in a ditch and I couldn't even get out by myself. So I was scared. I didn't know what to do. Phone not working. That day I got fired because she thought I got a new house, a new car, and all of a sudden I didn't want to come to work. And I was like, I was in an accident. Didn't matter. I was already fired. The next day, my second job laid me off. They laid off 70 people. I was one of those 70. They included me in that because I had another job, even though I had just been laid off. So I had no jobs. I had just got a car, just got a place. All my money was tied up in those two situations. And I was not expecting to be broke on fucking Christmas Eve with no family, nothing but my dog, Snoop. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? I was 20 years old. So come January 13th, on my 21st birthday, I signed up for truck driving school because I didn't know what else to fucking do. I had no other way to pay my bills. My car was fucked up. I didn't know what to do. Like, I did not know what to do. I tried to get a job locally at the school and all these different things. They wound up not taking me, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So when I went to truck driving school, I didn't know shit about a truck. I didn't know a fucking thing about a goddamn truck. I never even been inside of a truck. I never even looked at a truck like that for real. I didn't know what the fuck I was getting into, to be quite honest. I was literally freaked out. When I found out how heavy them motherfuckers really was, I cried. Every day when I was learning how to drive a truck, I cried. I broke down because I didn't know what the fuck I was getting into. And I was in over my head because I didn't know nothing about this shit at all. I literally went from having a job, working with kids, having the time of my life, and loving what I did, and then turning around, having to learn how to drive a truck or live on the street. That was the only option that I thought in my mind. And one thing about me is like, I had to face my fears every day, learning how to do this shit, right? Because there was no other way for me to get it done. If I didn't make it work in that moment, I had no other options or no other alternatives. And I had always grinded myself to the meat, whenever I was in a fucking position where it was a life or death situation. My life has been life or death situations for most of my life. And so now that I'm not necessarily in a life or death situation, I feel like it's extremely hard, and even healing from life and death situations and healing from all this trauma, it is extremely hard for me to like accept the idea and understand that I'm probably going to have experiences where I fall flat on my face and fail. Like, it is so hard to be a perfectionist and trying to do something that you never done before, and that nobody you may have in your life circle like has ever done before. So it's extremely hard to jump to these different spaces and to do it with really no guidance, right? And the biggest thing that I've had to learn that helped that came from this, that I've had to explain and understand, is that my success is not going to come from survival. My success is going to come from surplus. My success is not going to come from being in a position where I am like my success is going to come from surplus. It's going to come from abundance. My success is going to come from being healed, and healing my worthiness, healing my internal self, and healing the part of me that is afraid, right? Because not even though am I afraid of failing, but I think I've also been afraid of even my own success, because it's like, I don't really have that many people to look up to. There's not that many people that I can look at tangibly and say, you have a life that I would like to trade places with, or you are an example of somebody that I look up to and that I want to be like. Because most people that I have been around, I don't want to be like them at all. I don't want to be anything like a lot of the people that I've grown up around. And those are things that came up with my Black Walnut bath, is realizing I don't really fuck with a lot of the people who I thought I loved. And it's like reevaluating what love is for me has let me know that I am not really like, I have to rethink what love is. I had to relearn that. I had to learn what that is again, because I don't really think that I love the people who I have been saying I love you to my whole life. And so, yeah, I don't really love a lot of people. Although I thought I did. And I didn't really have love for myself, even though I thought I did. For me, I thought self-love for a long time only really had to do with self-care, spoiling yourself, looking in the mirror and thinking that you're beautiful. You know, I didn't really understand that my self-love came from a deeper, deeper, deeper place. I think I was only scratching the surface with it. It's like love is not just the good times, right? It's the bad times. It's when you're annoyed with the person. It's when you're sick of that person. It's when, you popping pimples and clipping toenails and farting in front of each other and can't eat, the dairy products and shit like that. Like love is comfort. You were comfortable around that person. It's vulnerability, right? It's intimate. And with intimacy, it is a deeper look into whomever you're dealing with. So you're not just coming into love with just like lustful eyes. You're coming into love being able to see the whole entire person for who they are, and loving their entire being, not just pieces of them that you enjoy, right? So you're understanding that it's the whole person. And that's something that I had to learn. I had to learn within my own self. My self-love wasn't just loving the parts of myself that's easy to love. It wasn't just loving the parts of me that other people enjoy. It wasn't just learning to love the parts of me that I don't necessarily find difficult, but learning to love the difficult parts of myself, learning to be able to have healthy conflict resolution within myself, learning to have healthy inner dialogue, learning how to hold myself accountable in a healthy way. Okay? Because I'm very, very, very tough on myself and everybody around. So I had to learn how to be more gentle and kind with myself. And I had to learn how to have long haul love. And I don't think I really understood what that love was like until I had a kid. Okay, because I have spent every day with my son since the moment I knew he was coming, and to today. My child has been here with me every single day, and I've never skipped a day, being a mother. And everything that I do, he is embedded in the very fabric of who I am, and he's woven into my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And so my child, is like my everything. You feel me? And I had to learn how to like let myself experience the moments when he's not that easy to be around. Because baby, as a parent, my baby, as cute as he is and as beautiful and as loving as he is, and as much as I love his little body and his soul and his face and everything about him, he gets on my nerves like nobody else has ever gotten on my nerves. Okay, he be stressing me out. He be throwing temper tantrums. He be throwing shit against the walls. When he don't get his way, he scream. He do all kind of shit. And I'm just like, child, if you don't sit down somewhere, please give me 5 minutes, okay? Baby, look, I got a giant glass of wine because I had a day as a mother. Oh, that's good. But yeah, I had to learn long haul love, because this baby, I'm gonna love him until I die and beyond that, okay? So having to learn how to be able to love somebody beyond the time when it's convenient. Because for a very long time, I was a person, when you stress me out, I'm out. You get on my nerves, goodbye. Shit ain't working out for me, peace out. Yeah, I'm one of them, okay? I've been the runner, the track star, okay? So I was not interested in dealing with getting to the meat and bones and the potatoes of relationships. I couldn't do it. So I have a child, and having to learn how to deal with a person that's always there, okay? Always there, okay? This is the only time I got to myself in a day. I had to learn how to be able to coexist and how to love him and support him and not be crazy and abusive and yelling. And I had to learn how to talk to this boy. I had to learn how to understand where he's coming from. I got to learn how to give him both nurturing and discipline at the same time, so he can have structure and he can have emotional development. And at the same time, that taught me how to do that with myself, okay? Because I had to be careful how I speak to him when he makes a mistake, right? If I say, it's okay, you made a mistake, that's okay, try again. You don't have to get mad, you don't have to get frustrated, you don't have to beat yourself up because you didn't get it right. Here I am saying that to my child, and I have my inner child saying, yeah, I need to learn that from me too. Because I didn't know how to allow myself to have that, because I didn't have a mother like me. I didn't have a father like that to give me that kind of constructive criticism without tearing me down. Okay, so that is a thing that I had to learn how to do, and that's something that I'm still working on, because I'm not an expert at it. I'm still working on it, but I had to accept the fact that if I can raise my child to be comfortable making mistakes and to be comfortable with failing, and that it's okay because you could try again, and to know that even if he does, feel frustrated, all he has to do is come to me and I can help him. Like, I think that that's been my biggest concern, is that I don't really have somebody that I can come to. Like, outside of like my ancestors and spirit and shit like that, there's not too many physical people in this world that when I'm in need and when I need support, and when I am in a position where I don't really know what to do, there hasn't really been that support system for me. And I feel like that's been my biggest frustration with regards to failing, because I feel like if I fail, no one's going to be able to help me, right? Like, if a tree falls in a forest and no one else hears it, did it really fucking fall? You know what I'm saying? So I've always felt like I couldn't make a mistake because I have everybody counting on me, and I didn't have no one to count on myself. So with that being said, I had to learn how to accept the fact that I am not perfect. And so that was a very big piece of what came up with the Black Walnut bath. Another really big thing was learning how to mourn relationships properly, because I didn't really learn how to mourn relationships like that. I really wasn't a person that really did the closure thing. I wasn't a person that really emotionally allowed myself to become so invested in my partner to where when it was over, I just kind of okay, bye, and I never really put things to an end, if that makes sense. So a lot of my exes, for the most part, except for Chris, a lot of my exes felt comfortable trying to double back around, because the way that things ended, it ended off on an ambiguous note, to where people that I used to be with thought that maybe if they caught me at a right time, let's say I wasn't with somebody, that we can just work things out again. And They were right, because there's a lot of times I got back with exes. And I think for me, I think a lot of it was like convenience, and because it was kind of like we already know each other and blah blah blah. But I have dealt with a lot of people from my past multiple times, and a lot of that came from just never really closing the door like I should have. And the reason why is because whenever the feelings would come up about feeling some way about somebody, or loving somebody, or missing something that we did, and having these types of moments and reminiscing and all these different things, like my little brain or whatever was like, oh well, maybe you should get back with them, like maybe you should go recreate those memories again, maybe you should go back and explore those, instead of just letting them be memories. Like, instead of just letting them be what they were, it's like I wanted to go back into those times and be in those times again. Like, I wanted to be like old times. But here I am, a different woman, and I'm in a different position. I'm in a different headspace. I have experienced different things. I am not the same woman that was when we were together. And so I'm growing, and I'm expecting somebody that I left behind to be doing the same thing, right? But that's where I have made my mistakes, because I have done poorly in that. Like, I have literally done poorly because I was going backwards, you know what I'm saying? To go back down to somebody else's level instead of them coming to meet me at mine, you know what I'm saying? And so as a result of that, I have found myself kind of like always kind of staying in a resentful place, because it's like, dang, like, you still on this shit? Like, you ain't changed, you ain't grown, you ain't done this and then the third yet. And it's like, how could they? How could they have done that if I literally left where I was at and demoted myself to go be in this, to be where they at, right? If I'm supposed to be flying with the egos, why am I down with the worms? Like, I have no business being that way. But that's what I was doing. And I was doing it because, again, it was convenient. Maybe it was because, for some reason, I felt like I could help them elevate, right? For some reason. Okay. I had always figured, like, if they would be able to kind of like grow upwards and catch up, then we would be good. But the reality was that was never going to be the case, because why would they need to grow upward if they have a woman that was of my caliber coming down to them? Ultimately that would just kind of make them feel like they didn't need to. Like, if they pull me and they on their level, they don't need to. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't need to do no type of work. Like, that's good enough right there. And I used to kind of, like I said, kind of become resentful, because I was like, well, damn, like, you just ain't even gonna try. But one thing I've had to learn is that if I'm not cool with a person being who they are, exactly as they are, for a very considerable amount of time while I'm dealing with them, I ain't gonna be able to be with them. Because I am not able, it's not gonna work, right? Like, you're trying to encourage somebody to be worthy of you, but all you're doing is, by giving them the time of day and entertaining them at all, they feel like they've already got you. So there's no point of trying to be worthy of you when they've already got you. Whether they feel worthy of you or not, they got you. So at the end of the day, there's really no incentive for them to grow, right? And I didn't understand that. Like, baby, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. Okay. Long gone are the days of, like, women who were in a position to be able to see that through. Like, if they got you, they don't necessarily have to prove their worth to you, because they already got you. At least that's how my observation has been, is that people don't need to have to, like, continue. They are not going to continually prove themselves to you unless they themselves are on a trajectory of growth. If you're not meeting a person that's already on a trajectory of growth and trying to continually evolve towards the better, then you're not gonna spark that into somebody who's complacent. You know? So that was just like a situation that I had to learn. Like I completely fell out of love of being a spiritualist. Like, excuse me, being a spiritualist, I fell out of love with people who I was once with. I fell out of love with friendships. I fell out of love of like family connections that I thought was just like so important to me. But they're not. It's like, I hate to say it, but like the connections that I meet, like the people who I've met are like so trivial in terms of like the grand scheme of my life. Like, and I've given people so much airtime in my life. Like I've literally like made people like fucking guest stars and motherfucking main cast members of my motherfucking life. Like, you know? And it's like, why have I given people so much motherfucking power? Why have I given people so much motherfucking power? But the problem is because the light has always shone through me and on me, right? And here I was trying to share that light. I was trying to share my spotlight with everybody. I was trying to make everybody the star in my life. And the reality is, it's only room for one. We only got one sun in this bitch. Right? We only got one sun in this bitch. In the Milky Way. You heard me? In this solar system, excuse me, not Milky Way. One solar system. Okay? And baby, I was like, why am I not standing more in my power? You know what I'm saying? And granted, I'm a 12th house stellium. Okay? I'm a 12th house stellium and I'm Aquarius rising. It's like I'm a humanitarian by nature. Like, you feel me? Like I be, in the cut. Like I be understanding, I be seeing, and I be loving on people, and I be, connecting with people spiritually and all these different shits. But it's like, the reason why I be so fucking drained is because I be literally letting so many people fucking take up space in my own energy field. Like, there ain't no room for me. Like, there ain't even no room for me to process my own shit because I'm over here trying to help everybody else with their shit. You feel me? So it's like, I'm not gonna have to learn to stop doing that shit. Fuck that. I had to stop prioritizing people. And that was the point. Like, having that fucking spiritual bath, Black Walnut bath, I was over here asking Spirit, remove the thoughts that don't belong to me. Remove connections. Remove emotional ties. Bring me back my energy from people who are inappropriately using my shit and doing so without my permission. Bring me back to me. Bring me back to center. Bring me back, make me back whole, make me back full, because I have left a piece of my heart with so many motherfucking people. So as I call for my energy to come back, it's like, I realize so many people from my past was popping up. Like, I called my energy back right after doing this fucking spell and this fucking, reversal spell in the motherfucking Walnut bath. And like, hella exes popped up like, oh yeah, I just wanted to check on you. How you doing? Hey, did you move to such and such area? I missed you. I ain't talked to you. How you doing? You know, niggas calling me, niggas hit me up, blowing my phone. And it's like, well, damn, you know, granted, I know it's popping and I know what it was when it was, but at the same time, it's like, the reason why you're doing that is because I called my energy back. And because I called my energy back, you're feeling the absence of me. And because you're feeling the absence of me, you're calling me and trying to reach out to me, trying to re-engage with me so you can sink your hooks back into me so you can take another piece of me and hold it within you. Because to know me is to love me. Seriously. To know me is to love me, and to fucking be able to have access to my fucking energy and my presence, that is bountiful and that is a blessing. And I realized, like, the reason why I had so many people in my fucking life came up in a relationship with me, and so many people in my motherfucking life have blessings and so many other motherfucking great things come to them, is because those is my motherfucking blessings that they intercepted, because they got my energy with them. And here I am having their energy, and here I am getting all these karmic attacks and motherfucking just life just beating my motherfucking ass. I'm getting my ass beat up by life, and here these motherfuckers is coming up, and that's because they have access to my motherfucking energy. They got my blessings. They got the shit I'm supposed to have. You feel me? And it's like, I can't even be mad about that though, because, you know, that's my fault, right? Like, I wasn't watching myself right. I wasn't taking care of myself right. Like, I literally was caught slipping. You feel me? And if I wasn't slipping the way that I was slipping, then for sure they wouldn't, you know, my blessings would have been mine. And I've had to learn that, right? Like, like, I have a big heart and I'm generous, but I feel like I've been to the point where I might have been stupid. Like, my heart was bigger than my wallet. You feel me? I'm over here taking care of people. And then after I'm done taking care of people, I don't even know how I'm gonna pay my shit. Looking out for people, so empathic, so empathetic. Let me help you out. Let me love on you. Let me be there for you. Let me support you. Let me give you this. Let me do this for you. Let me do that. And I'm going to turn around and find myself struggling. That's the part that I didn't understand. And I was struggling because a lot of my blessings was just for me, and I was giving them motherfuckers away. Like, here you go, I got this for free. You can add them too. The reason why I got it for free is because motherfucking spirit saw I was gonna need that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? My ancestors said, baby, you need this. You're gonna need this for a rainy day. And here I am giving it away. Okay, so now the rainy day coming and I ain't got it, and I'm over here trying to ask ancestors for some shit that they already done gave me. But that's the point. The point is that I had to stop motherfucking passing my fucking blessings out like it's motherfucking candy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's motherfucking cheap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have the luxury. I'm luxury. And here I am, like, passing it out like it's a fucking Shein. Like, are you serious? And so, I was not really valuing. I didn't understand the value of what it was that I was giving to people. Like, I didn't understand the value and the magnitude that having me in people's life has really been. Like, I didn't realize how good I really was. Like, how, like, people would be protected. Like, their life, they car, they family, like, they things would be protected because I was a part of that shit. You feel me? Like, niggas had protection because of me. People was saved. People was given favor because of me. Like, people could use my name. People could use my image, my likeness. People could use my energy and get so much shit. So much. They could cash in based off my fucking energy. Based off of who the fuck I really am. Here they are, living it up. Niggas was cashing in off of my energy. I remember this man used my name, like used my likeness to get a high paying job. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I literally have had people come up off of my connections to them. People who it's like, and it's funny to me because it's interesting because when I look back at it, it's almost always was framed by those people that they were trying to help me. Oh, I want to help you. Let me put your name in this situation, and let me bring you into this situation so I can help you. Because if your name or your energy or your likeness or your permit or whatever is a part of the situation, it's going to go through. And then when it goes through, I'm going to have this extra such and such, and then I'm going to pay you back, or I'm going to give you this way and third or whatever. So I've had plenty of people utilize my energy and their access to me and cash in on many occasions in order for them to come up, but they would frame it as though they was helping me out. And then I'm gonna tell you, because this is funny, because this is the first time I'm really like coming to a deep realization of this happening. But all I can say is that's how I know I got the motherfucking juice. You feel me? Because my energy is that bomb that you're gonna utilize my energy to help me. You're gonna use my energy to reflect it into you and then reflect it back to me and give me a little sprinkle of my energy. Because niggas could see that I got all this bomb energy and that I'm not tapping into it. I'm not realizing what a gold mine I'm sitting on. And here they are mining me for gold, for jewels, for gems, for pearls of wisdom, for motherfucking favor, for motherfucking protection, for motherfucking wealth and abundance and love and happiness and blessings and all these different things. Motherfuckers was using me. Using me to help themselves. And then gonna try to make it seem like they trying to help me. You gonna help me with my own energy. Think that's some shit. And I think that this is one of those things, like this situation really, really deeply did it for me. Like, I'm really coming to this realization right now. I'm coming to this realization right now of how fucking dope I am. I really am dope. Like, excuse my nose for running. But like, I'm dope in a way that's, I don't even think that is really like fair. It's kind of unfair to most people that I come across. It's kind of unfair to most men that I'm gonna date because I am so fucking dope that it's like, I don't even think I'm gonna find anyone that's ever gonna be on my level. But the point that's really not even about that, it's like, okay, you don't have to necessarily be on my level, but now that you know you got a woman of my level, what are you gonna do to measure up? Right? because I got the dope energy, and dope spirit, and dope mind, and dope everything else. But if you can complement my dopeness, you don't necessarily have to be on my level. You don't even necessarily have to be dope yourself, but you can complement it. If you can compliment me, then we can figure something out. But and I'm gonna tell you something. When I was 21 years old, I met this dude, right, Aiden, and I was so fucking in love with that man for a long fucking time. And I used to think that he was the best thing that I was ever gonna come across. I did not. I didn't even think that there was ever even a man that can come close to him. And I remember I would always wonder, why did he want me? It's not to say that I wasn't dope, and not to say that I wasn't cool, not to say that I wasn't beautiful, not to say that I wasn't, all those. Excuse me. But I always wondered, like, a man with that level of education, that level of wealth, that type of thinking, that type of heart, that type of, outlook on life, right? I always wondered, why did he want me? He could have anybody, literally anybody, and you wanted me. And he used to always tell me, no, he used to tell me he was the lucky one. That it was a blessing to have me. That it was my love that did these things for him. And it's like I always felt in my heart, like, yeah, I am all those things, but like, I guess I didn't realize that it can all exist within somebody that not only stirred me spiritually, but emotionally and mentally and physically as well. Like, I could just look at that man and just become overcome with emotion, And I hadn't ever been stirred like that before. And so I just didn't understand. Then, as I come to a really deeper realization, this is 6 years later. I am a whole different woman now. I understand. It's like I understand because I really am fucking dope. Like, I really am fucking amazing. Like, I am really one of them people that changes people's lives for the fucking better. Like, having access to me is like fucking hitting the motherfucking lottery. And like, I have been that good thing in people's lives. I have been that fucking blessing. I have been, at the fucking forefront of people's fucking life being changed in a great way, Like, I've done that shit for people. And I didn't understand that shit. Like, I didn't understand the level of fucking dopeness that I had for so fucking long. Like, I did not understand my worth like that. Like, I knew I was worth some shit, but I didn't really know I was worth some shit. You feel me? Like, I don't even think I understood. Like, I didn't understand it. It's like, I didn't, it wasn't registering to me the depth of it, if that makes sense. And that was the part that kind of it evaded me for so fucking long. Like, I literally never understood that. And the reason why I didn't understand is because I was around other people who did not have the eye to understand, who didn't have the taste, who didn't have the budget, who didn't have the vision, who didn't have the exposure, who didn't have the experience, who didn't have the expertise, who didn't have the fucking knowledge, who didn't have the qualifications to deal with somebody like me. I was around underqualified motherfuckers my whole motherfucking life, to where I was undervalued because I was around people who didn't understand what value was, who didn't understand my value. I was around people who shopped at motherfucking Target and TJ Maxx and motherfucking Marshalls. I wasn't dealing with people who was shopping with Max and Mara and Bottega Veneta and motherfucking The Row. I wasn't dealing with people who could understand the quality, who could understand the craftsmanship that went into my soul, went into my spirit. Because baby, I am cut from a different motherfucking cloth. I'm cut from a different fucking cloth. And I didn't understand that, because here I am in a motherfucking thrift store. You ever been to a motherfucking thrift store and you come up off some shit that's worth a lot of money? Because them motherfuckers just saw it was all donated and it was sorted into a pile and they just put a tag on it. They didn't even know what the fuck it was. That's what the fuck I was dealing with. I was dealing with people who didn't know what the fuck I was and who the fuck I was. So I had a lot of people who had me fucked up, to the point where I had my own self fucked up. Bitch. It's no wonder why I have the taste that I have. It's no wonder why I have the desires that I have. There's no wonder why the things that I am that I will be attracting into my life are nothing like the shit that I was exposed to before. Nothing like anything I've been around. Nothing like anybody I know has been around. Because I'm from a different motherfucking cloth. I'm not like them. And it's like, that's what the fuck. And that's the point that I'm saying. It's like, there was no man that I'm with or could have been with in the past and even in present times that was truly, truly and deeply deserving of me. Like, even though they may have known I was valuable and known I was a treasure and known those things, like, they would never have been able to really honor me the way that I deserve to be honored, because I didn't even know. I had to fall out of love with everybody and in love with myself to be able to see who I am. So I came out of this fucking black walnut bath a new person, being able to see who I am, being able to see me at my core, and seeing that I'm made of fucking gold, I'm made of silver, I'm made of milk and honey, I'm made of opal and rubies and emeralds and sapphire, I'm made of the dark matter, I'm made of the essence of goddess. Like, I'm really that. Like, I'm really that. And it's like, as much as people can conceptualize it and they can think about it and like, oh yeah, you're this, you're a goddess, you're this, there's nobody that I was with that would have really been able to truly do the work to appreciate somebody like me. So I had to fall out of love with them, because I had to fall back in love with myself, and I had to come and realize who the fuck I am. And realizing who the fuck I am, it made me realize I deserve better than this. Even though you're fawning over me, and you love me, and you're adoring me, and you're idolizing me, and you're worshiping me, and you're honoring me, I still deserve better than that. I deserve a higher quality servant. I deserve a better lover. I deserve somebody who is as close to me as possible energetically, but still can recognize how about like, I don't need you to be so far beneath me. I don't need a subordinate. But it's just one of them things that I'm realizing, like, I'm just it. I'm just it. And I have never really been like this happy in my own skin before. Like, I haven't really been this content. And the reason why I am this content right now is because I've dealt with so many things that each thing I think was trying to show me that I deserve more and that I deserve better. And every time I didn't learn it, I got dragged down another notch and another notch and another notch until I reached my bottom. Until I reached my bottom, until I reached my bottom, until I said I had enough. Because I was not understanding. I thought I was regular. I thought I was regular. I thought I was able to do the things that other people do. I thought I was dealing with normal, everyday issues in relationships. I thought I was dealing with it. No, I wasn't. But that's because for a long time, I did not understand my worthiness because I felt like the ugly duckling, but I'm really the swan. Like, I'm the swan. Like, I'm beautiful. That's the point that I'm making. So I had to fall out of love with everybody so I can fall in love with me. And the thing is, like, falling in love with me is something I never want to let go of. I don't ever want to fall out of love with myself. I don't ever want to get to a point in my life where I'm not really like giving myself like the utmost care and concern and the most compassion and the most sweetness, and like I want to be. It's like I'm letting myself be able to make a mistake and to not get it right, right? And that it's okay to fail. And it's okay to fail in anything that I do. And it's okay in everything that I do. And it's okay in being able to know that I can get back up. And I will get back up. Because I am not afraid to fail my way to success. Because every time I get back in it, I do it better. I learn something more, I do better, and I become better. I'm not afraid to let it flop. I'm not afraid to not let it work out. I'm just going to have to stop being afraid of just doing it, right? Like the fear of doing it and not being right the first time. I'm okay with just putting it out there, even if it's not right. I am letting my fears go of perfectionism, baby. That is self-sabotage. That is self-sabotage. That is self-sabotage. I'm going to do better. I'm going to get it better. It's going to get right. It's going to be all right. Let's just get out there and get it done. Let's just go and do it. Let's just make it happen. No more being afraid. No more pushing it down. No more hiding in the background. No more daydreaming. No more. No more. Because I deserve to live a life with no regrets. I deserve to live a life doing all the things that I desire and all the things that I have had on my heart and in my mind to do for so long. And I'm not going to let my own self stand in the way of my deepest dreams. Like, And I've seen myself doing it, and I know it's going to happen. So I'm no longer afraid to fail because it's going to work. It's going to work if I keep doing it. It's going to work if I mess up. It's going to work if I fall off. It's going to work. My thing is keeping at it and staying encouraged, because eventually it's going to work. So I'm going to be the one to get it. And I'm going to make sure that it happens, because I'm not giving up on me. Because I deserve them same wonderful blessings that I have so graciously shared with so many people. And but that's it. I'm gonna pull a couple cards just to see, it's just little cards, any messages, because I just like doing it, and it's here. This one was coming. Okay. Whoa. Okay. So, message for the collective before I go. So, actually, hold on.